Hello, and in this training, we're going to talk about search marketing in a nutshell. SEO isn't dead, not by a long shot, but it certainly has changed. So back in the day, people used to be able to game the system by doing a lot of different tactics that were considered to be black hat tactics. But Google has evolved over time, and one thing that hasn't changed is that people are still searching for answers on Google. And so a good website provides answers through content and in turn allows them to be ranked. And so SEO isn't dead. You can still rank for the things that you want to, but Google's just come down in a way that makes it more difficult for people to do shady stuff in order to get ranked. And so today we're going to talk about the acceptable and proper way to be able to do search marketing. All right, so my name's Monique. I'm the co-founder of Geronimo Digital Solutions. It's a local marketing agency, and I'm also the owner of Success with Digital. I'm super passionate about digital marketing, and I love to share my knowledge. So here's what to expect in this workshop. You'll leave with a foundation of what search marketing is. We'll cover the search marketing method, search marketing lingo, and search marketing metrics. So let's talk about the method, the principles of a well-executed search marketing plan. So SEO isn't dead, it's just evolved. Search marketing has evolved more than any other discipline in digital marketing. And so one of the main things that's changed is that there's rules. And if you don't know the rules of search right now, that's probably a good thing. Because if you knew the old rules, it would probably do a disservice to you, so you're not doing things that would be considered black hat. If you're just starting fresh, it's perfect. So what is search? Well, today's search is mobile. When people are searching today, they're doing so from their mobile devices. Also, today's search is structural and technical. But once you get all that technical stuff down, it's really all about content and on-page optimization. So if you're finding that you're not getting any organic traffic from Google, it may be that you have structural or technical issues, or that the content you've created is not considered the best option for what your audience is looking for. Search is also white hat. White hat, gray hat, black hat. There's all different kinds of hats. But white hat is all about doing what is allowed within Google's terms of service. Black hat stuff is considered unethical and sometimes borderline illegal. And so Google wants you to create a superior experience on your website or through whatever asset that you have. And so that is where white hat comes in. It's all about creating that experience for your users and having the content that answers that they need when they search for what they're searching for. And so what if it comes to black hat? Well, a black hat can get your site shut down, and we don't teach that. But what we do teach is search that is focused on building a sustainable business. And so today, the best page usually wins. And with Google, Google won. If you're not familiar with any of the updates that Google has, they've really come out with quite a few over the years, and the war is over. Google's won. You don't want to go up against Google scientists. Google's algorithm is so in-depth that there is multiple algorithms that work together, and their scientists say that they don't even really understand how it fully works anymore, because there's so much AI involved and it's evolving every day. And so to try to game the system is not really the way that you want to do SEO. There's a better way to do it. But really, search is about so much more than Google. We've been talking about Google, but really search is much more than that. And so today's search is everywhere, and that's really kind of what matters. When you think of search engines, it's natural to automatically think of Google, and you will want to focus on it, but you'll also want to focus on multiple areas. All of these platforms that you see on the screen right now are a form of a search engine. Anything that is not Google on this page, these search algorithms are essentially dumb in comparison, and so it is easier to trick these algorithms. Not to say to do it unethically, but these platforms are much more easier to gain. And so when you think of Google My Business or Google Maps, that is a search algorithm. You're searching for things. iTunes, Pinterest, Amazon, YouTube, Yelp, TripAdvisor. These are all places that people go to be able to search for information based on businesses, topics, what have you. And so this is much more than just getting traffic, and it's not just about ranking, and it's not just about traffic, because at the end of the day, can you take your ranking to the bank? Or at the end of the day, can you take your traffic to the bank? What you really need are more leads and more sales. So really forget about the traffic, forget about the ranking, and let's focus on the sales. So search is really about, the first stages of search is really about intent and context. Intent is, what is the prospect searching for? And the context is, why are they searching for it? So the model that works today, this is the first part of that model. The first super important word is intent. And so what is the prospect searching for? What is the context of why they're searching? And so I'm walking on Queen Street and I'm hungry. My intent is a restaurant. My context is that I'm hungry. And so intent, what is the prospect looking for? Context, why are they searching for it? And so here's an example of intent. I want to find a historic bed and breakfast near me because I want to take my wife to a unique place for our anniversary. The intent is to find a historic bed and breakfast. The context is that he wants to take his wife to a unique place for their anniversary. So hugely vital information for a bed and breakfast. If they know that people are searching for a bed and breakfast because they want unique places to have their anniversary, then that is great information to know about how people are searching for their business. So let's look at another example. I want to start a vegetable garden because I want to save money on grocery bills. So the intent is to start a vegetable garden. The context is to save money on grocery bills. And so intent and context, what they do is they translate into search queries. So you can use a keyword research tool, and you should, but the best keyword tool you have is really your brain. And so when you sit down and think of the intent and context your audience has, it allows you to start mapping out what they're searching for. So they want to start a vegetable garden, or they're looking for a historic bed and breakfast. These intent and context turns into search queries, and what you should be thinking about is the intent and context of your customers' questions and needs. These are good things for you to be building content around. And so this is about creating assets that meet that intent and that context. So figure out the intent and context. What do you need in order to show up for that search? Well, the next step is to have an asset. And the last step in this stage is to have a channel. Where should the asset live? And so let's look at some more examples. It could be that you have a blog post. And so the asset would be a blog post on how to start a vegetable garden. The channel would be Google, because that's where it's going to get ranked and that's where people are going to be searching for it. You could have an asset, which is your Google My Business listing, and the channel would be Google Maps, and you would show up for people searching a historic bed and breakfast. Another example would be a Pinterest pin. The asset is that Pinterest pin, and the channel is Pinterest. And so we'll go through a couple more. So you could have a product on Amazon that is your asset, and the channel is Amazon. And so you would want to rank on Amazon for that product, whether it be something to start a vegetable garden at home. So are you starting to see how there's assets and channels based off people's intents and context? So here's another one. Your asset could be your TripAdvisor listing, and the channel is TripAdvisor, and it's people searching for bed and breakfasts in St. Louis. Another example would be an asset for video. The asset could be a video on how to save money on groceries, and the channel would be YouTube because that's where that asset lives. Now, this is about optimization and ascension. It's not just about knowing the first 4 steps. It's how will the prospect find this? What do you want them to do next? So many search marketers forget to do this, and that's where they end up with unhappy clients because they don't get any leads and they don't get any sales. So please remember step 6, the ascension stage. Whatever the step in the customer journey needs to be built into that asset. And so when you look here, a title tag is optimized. Vegetable gardening for beginners, gardener supply. The title tag is optimized for people wanting to start a vegetable garden. And then when you come to that blog post, the ascension path is clear. The next stage is available on the blog post. In the sidebar and within the content, there's different call to actions that are shown to bring them to the next stage in the customer value journey. And so when you do get that traffic, don't waste it. Make sure to put call to actions on that page and help people move to that next stage in the customer value journey. And so if you look at your current site, see where the traffic is and see if there's a place to be able to add some call to actions that will help drive your traffic to the next stage in your customer value journey. Now, video title is optimized on this video, 13 ways to save money on groceries. And then the ascension path is very clear. There's links within the body showing you where they want you to go next. There's also call to actions like subscribe. Now, don't focus on getting just traffic. It's really important to focus on getting those conversions. And so let's have a look at this as a whole system in action. There's someone that goes to YouTube and they search the intent, tile my bathroom. And then what ends up coming up is a video that was created by Home Depot, and it's the only thing they need to compete really is showing someone how to tile the bathroom. Next, the channel is obviously YouTube. Your videos don't need to be getting millions of views. You really only need, 100 to 200. A company as big as Home Depot, this is, one of their most viewed videos. It's not about how many views you have, it's about the quality of those views. It's the intent that people are searching for, and if it's relevant to what your product and service is, then you should be able to help move them down that customer value journey. And so the channel is YouTube, and then it's all about optimization. Intent-based keyword in the title and description. They've done their YouTube SEO, which is perfect. And then there's ascension. They have the subscribe, they have a link to see more, and again, they have another link within the description on how to get more information on it. So it has those call to actions that lets that person know the next steps. So I guess the question you have to ask yourself is, do you have call to actions within your content? All right. So let's look at the lingo and the language of a content marketer. So there's technical SEO. And so what this is, it's optimizing the structure and code of a website so that search engines can find, understand, and send traffic to that website. There's also intent, the relevant goals of your ideal customer that lead to queries on the web. The intent of a hungry New Yorker might be typed into Google as Thai food near Central Park. Then there's assets. Content produced to satisfy the intent of a customer or prospect, including blog posts, product pages, social media profiles, podcasts, videos, and more. And then there's channels, the digital home of an asset designed to meet the intent of a customer or prospect. Assets might live on a website or blog, but also on large hubs like Amazon, Pinterest, iTunes, and TripAdvisor. All right, so we've gone over the lingo. Now let's look at some of the metrics on how search marketing is measured. So there's measurement by channel, being able to see how traffic is being brought to your site. Another measure could be the quality or quantity of backlinks. And then another option is measuring your keyword rankings. What are the keywords that you are trying to rank for, and how well do you rank for those? And then there's also measuring conversions from search. And so being able to set up your analytics account so that you can track how much money you're making from these organic searches. And that, in a nutshell, is search marketing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on this video, or if you want to stop in the Facebook group and leave a question there, or maybe we'll meet up at the next SWD event. We'll see you then.